We are back with one of our dear friends, Maria Shriver. She has a new book out today. It's called I Am Maria, My Reflections and Poems on Heartbreak, Healing, and Finding Your Way Home. And she wrote it while going on a healing journey to find out, well, who is Maria? And Maria is here. We know you, Maria, as just our guru and our friend and a wise woman. But honestly, you're a poet. And I mean, that's something that I think probably surprises you to find out.
Absolutely, but I think life is surprising. So this is a book about reflections, thoughts, and poems on love and loss, healing, heartbreak, and what makes up a life, and how to find your way home to yourself and really to other people, because we all have so much in common. That's what I've learned.
This has to be one of the most daring things you've ever done.
For sure.
To write these poems, you never thought these would be out publicly. You never.
Well, I never thought I would write poetry, but I found, that I had an artistic and creative voice within, which I believe everybody does. And I found that by sitting in silence and allowing that voice to come up, and write freely. My daughter calls it reporter poetry, so I'm not pretending that it's like Mary Oliver or Emily Dickinson, but it's real, it's guttural, and I think it's the kind of feelings that we all have about life, about fear, about loss, about heartbreak, about what makes up a life. And so I'm hoping people will find themselves in this and begin to think about their own lives.
And the place that you started writing these poems was a place of loss, a place of heartbreak. And you talk about that in the opening chapter of this book, losing both parents, losing your career, losing your marriage in that moment. And you said that you were broken and you had to kind of start from ground zero, from a hotel room floor.
That's right. And I think I wanted to go back and see, when did my heartbreak start? When did my loss start? When did longing begin? And I think as if you go back and look at your life so that you can move forward, you'll discover that these things happen really in childhood. And to begin to make sense of one's own life so one can go forward, one can be a survivor, one can feel triumphant about the kind of life that one is living, requires, I think, an examination from the beginning so that you can go forward.
Well, you came from a famous family, obviously.
Really?
Yeah, like you don't say. You grew up as a Kennedy. Not only the fame, but also the heartbreak and the grief. You lost two uncles. And you write about how that wasn't really spoken of. This grief and this trauma was unspeakable.
Right, but I think I grew up at a time when people didn't do that. People did not talk about feelings. They didn't talk about grief. They didn't talk about what was happening. They just shouldered on. So I thought that's what you did. I didn't have a demonstrative mother. I thought that's what everybody had. So I think I came to look at, wow, I've put a lot down. I built up a lot of walls over my grief, over my loneliness. And I think everybody does do that because they don't know any other way. And I think that serves you until a certain point, and then it doesn't. And then you can let it all out and figure out, who you are underneath of all of that. And I found somebody who was tender, who was very feminine, who was heartbroken, who was longing for love, who wanted to be different, who wanted to show up in a more open, vulnerable way. And that this book is the result of that.
Do you ever, it's just strange how life is. And of course, we know that time is a healer and you're in this different place, but it's like to access the real you, you had to go through this terrible pain, this something, your nightmare scenario. It happened, and that's how you found you.
Right, but I think everybody has pain. And I think through my journalism, I was able to interview so many people who accessed forgiveness, got through their pain, led triumphant lives. And that's the kind of life I wanted to live. I wanted to learn from other people. I wanted to learn from myself. I wanted to put my reflections down on paper. And I wanted to walk with others who were experiencing the same thing. And that's really what's happening. People are coming up to me and saying, I'm starting to think about how I am as a mother or as a father. I'm starting to think about what happened to me when I was a teenager. I want to show up differently. And I just hope people don't wait as long as I did to be kind to themselves, to be more open with their lives and with others.
Well, I think these poems are an opening for everyone, because while they're personal and if we know a little of your story, we may see those moments in your life, but they immediately speak to you, and I think they really do have this power to open hearts. So it's a really cool book. Before I let you go, I know you're a grandma now.
That's right.
And your son Patrick's on White Lotus right now. We got to talk about it.
I'm going to change the name of the book. I Am Patrick's Mother.
I know.
Because all anybody wants to talk to me about is Saxon.
We have to talk about Saxon.
Saxon. I hope Saxon doesn't die this weekend.
Well, me too. And okay, so there's that.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I really don't know.
No,
I swear on my mother, I don't know.
Oh, Craig is like,
I pay no attention to Craig.
Yeah, Craig. She doesn't know. She didn't even know that scene was coming, did you? The naked scene? I didn't know that was coming. Oh, I thought he didn't warn you.
Yeah, he kind of warned me, but not really warned me.
Oh, okay.
That's between me and Patrick. He kind of warned me, but he won't tell me. And I've changed my whole book tour to be home to watch the finale with him.
You're going to have like a viewing party?
Yeah, I want to have a viewing party, but he told me he has to work, so I'm going to have my viewing party without Saxon. But Patrick is not like Saxon.
Okay.
I just want to clear that up because people say, is Patrick like Saxon? I'm like, do you think I would have raised a Saxon?
No.
But I'm really happy for him. He's worked so hard. He takes acting classes. He gets rejected a lot, and this is finally the role of his life. Yeah. And he's having a great time with it, and everybody wants to talk to me about it. So
I love it.
I'm so happy for him.
It's his moment, but it's yours too, Miss Maria.
Thank you.
Maria. It's really cool. I hope people check it out.
I hope they do too. I hope they do.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.